So today's a little bit crazy. We are taking a roping lesson, a team roping lesson. It kind of all came about because in the first video where we did a reining lesson, we were sitting there talking about roping, and Kirsty, she's back here behind the scenes, she was like, you know what, I'm gonna set you up a roping lesson. And so now we are here with multiple AQHA world champion, AQHA professional horseman, Bryce Briggs, and I'm so thankful. So thank you, Bryce.
Yeah.
You want to introduce yourself and the horses?
Yeah, I'm Bryce, and I'm glad to have you all out today. You're sitting on PS Mobster's toy, AKA Mobster. He's a double registered gelding by HF Mobster. He's a reserve world champion at the Paint World last year in the heading, and he's got quite a few accolades to go along with that. And then here I'm sitting on CW Bet He's All In, who is primarily a cow horse and versatility horse that we're starting to get ready to show in the roping. He recently just won the versatility at the Sun Circuit, was the all-around champion there.
That's awesome.
Yep. And then over here we've got Mojo, he's proud of himself. This was a cool horse. You know, Jake and Kirsty own this horse, and we won about 30,000 on him in his futurity year, and he was a huge step in my program of getting to that next level and stuff like that.
Now Kirsty jumps him, does the ranch stuff with him, her daughter rides him, they still do the cow horse stuff with him. He's like the epitome of an all-around horse.
Right.
He does everything. So he's so cool. Nate, you're so lucky to have him as your mount today.
Very much.
But basically in this video, we are going to start from the ground. We have basically a fast-tracked plan to hopefully get to rope an actual steer today. But we are going to start on the ground, going to start the fundamentals, get like all of that knowledge, go into the actual mechanics of the horse and the reasoning for their positioning once they get out onto the cow. There's things that I didn't even know that I've learned today, so I'm really excited. I mean, my background, I know that there's a heading horse and a heeling horse, and that's about it. So I'm so excited to learn together. Pitter patter, let's get at her.
What are we gonna name him? What are we gonna name him?
It's like the reason we're here, Abigail.
How about Tinker?
Tinker. Why does Nate get to name it?
You throw out your what do you
Birthday
want?
girl gets to name it. I'm good with birthday girl. Don't get me on his side. I like Kevin.
Probably Reiner.
Everybody got robes and gloves.
By the way, I'm Katie.
Bryce Briggs.
Nice to meet you.
I'm Nate.
Nice to meet you, Nate.
Good to meet you.
So we have zero experience. I know like heading and heeling and like a little bit of that, but not.
There's professional rodeo all the way down through like the junior rodeo ranks and stuff like that, and that's all timed roping, and there is fundamentals to that obviously as anything else. But when you're learning that kind of stuff, you know, the idea behind it is beat the clock, just like any other speed event, right? And then, you know, there's been AQHA roping around for years. Since AQHA started, there's been judged roping events, and they're judged a lot like the reining. You start with a 70, plus or minus each of your maneuvers. Each of the roping classes has 4 maneuvers: the box, run and rate, and then some are different than others, like heeling is corner, heading is setting and handling, and then facing, and then heeling is stop and jerk. So there's different aspects, but all the roping events have 4 different plus or minuses.
Right.
And you start at a 70. So there's a judge aspect to that, and that's like, as being a horse trainer, that's what we focus on probably the most, is those horses starting in their show career first, and then eventually a lot of them get sold and go on to be junior rodeo horses or even professional rodeo horses, where time is the matter. But we put that foundation on them that they have to be quiet and handleable in the box, because you're getting scored just like you were to trot to the center of the arena in the reining, and all the other things kind of fall into place there. So there's 2 different sides of the sport of team roping: is the judged aspect and how flawless can you be and beat the clock. And a lot of those have come together in like roping fraternities, American Rope Horse Fraternity. They take the aspect of the time and they make it your 3rd judge. So they subtract your time from 80. So 80 is your score, and then if you're 7 seconds, then you're a 73.
Gotcha.
And so that makes up your 3rd score. So that adds to that. So that's kind of the idea behind it, is speed meets efficiency and quality.
Correctness. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. All right, so today, we got a heading dummy out here. And, there's what I kind of start with my roping lessons is I go through the different names of the parts of our rope. And that's going to help us as we're explaining things to, say, these are your coils and this is your spoke and so on and so forth. So we'll kind of go over the definitions of what parts of our rope are what, and then that'll help us when we're doing our lesson here that you know what we're talking about. So typically that's a kind of, I think, a more of like a youth rope. So it's a little bit shorter on us, but that's okay. And I'll actually, if you wouldn't mind, I'll take that from you and I'll make it kind of where we want it, and then that way you can kind of have that to judge off of. Like I said, the youth rope, everything I try to keep relatively the same. I just a little bit smaller. My coils here are quite bigger than yours, but it's just because of the size of the diameter of the rope. And, it's made for beginners or kids running around playing with it. Heck, I rope goats with these all the time, so it's nothing wrong with it. But so basically, you got your rope built. I'll build yours as well, so that way you have kind of a perfect loop size to start with.
Thank you.
There you go. Okay. All right. So start with everything in our left hand. Okay. This is pretty simple. This is our tail. Okay. So our tail is going to hang down the left side of our horse's neck when we're on our horse, and then you're going to have your coils in your hand. I want 4 pieces of rope, 3 full coils, 1 half coil, as y'all have. Yep. And then you're going to, when you get on a horse, you're going to have your roping reins, which are kind of like an English rein or a barrel racing rein. They're single rein, and we hold them a little bit like Romels. So they're coming out the top, not the bottom like split reins. And those reins are going to lay with your coils right here. So you'll have a lot in this left hand. This left hand is responsible for a lot of different things. It's the control box for your horse, and it's also how you gauge your rope if you need more distance to the cow when you throw. You have to start to get the muscle memory of how far you are away and how far to let go of each one of these, because if you let go too much, you'll overshoot your target. Okay. So there's a lot that falls into the left hand. Everybody thinks roping's with the right hand and how important that is, but there's a lot of what is it, ambidextrous?
Yeah.
Because you got to be able to focus on both hands at the same time and what both hands are doing. Okay. All right, so we got our coils, and this is not anything fancy. It's the distance between our hands here. Okay, and that distance between our hands, when I actually use, it's kind of like a yo-yo, I kind of feed it out. Okay, if I'm close to the cow, I'm going to feed it out, because this is if I'm on top of the cow, I don't want a lot of distance between my hands, because that's how far my rope's going to travel. And if I want to extend that distance between my hands, I'll let more coils out. Okay. So I feed most of that out, and I'll start with a small loop for multiple reasons. One, I don't hook it on anything when I'm getting it above my head. I won't hook it on my horse's face, my stirrup, anything like that. And secondly, it's lighter and it's easier to get going above my head that first swing. And then as I keep swinging, everything feeds out. Okay. Feeding is something I tell people, you kind of get better at it like playing with a yo-yo. The more you work with it and the more you play with it, it gets handier and easier for you to slide that rope in and out of your Honda. Okay, and that brings us to our right hand. The definitions, and we'll go over these real fast after. I know I'm spitting a lot out.
No, you're good.
But we got our Honda here. So a lot of people call it a Hondo. I don't know why. That's not how it's pronounced, but it's spelt that way. But it's Honda.
Honda.
But yeah, or I. I mean, in simpler terms, that's what it translates to. In Spanish, I guess, is I. So this is the eye of your rope. It's what comes through. It's the knot. It's tied in a, I'm not a Boy Scout, but it's tied in a particular type way. All the different rope companies, they all tie it the same. And basically, that's just what keeps it from, when pulled tight, it doesn't close on itself. It stays open. It's got a rawhide burner in here to help it slide through. And these ropes' shelf life isn't, for a guy that ropes all day long, it's not very long. I'll go through a rope in a day.
Wow.
They don't last long. They need to stay with a certain amount of stiffness to them, and over time they just become floppy and dead. And I'll try what I do like here at home. Like I'll try to put a few runs on, 3 or 4, and then take them to a roping, so they're kind of broke in. And then by the end of the roping, they're usually kind of done. Yeah. So they don't have much of a shelf life. For somebody that's just getting started roping the dummy, you know, I'll have a designated dummy rope that'll sit hanging on the horns of the dummy for a week or so. Like that's not as important, but as far as a competition rope, they have very little life to them. And so we have our eye, and then we have our spoke. Our spoke is the distance between our eye and our handhold, where we hold our rope. All right, so we got our handhold, and directly below our handhold, the furthest distance from our handhold is our tip. Okay, so our tip would be the furthest point away, and then our spoke lies in between our tip and our handhold. It should be right about the middle point of that. Okay, and what the importance of the word tip is the tip is going to be what a person should be able to feel the most. Okay, obviously you're holding this, and this is feeling to your hand. But when you're swinging your rope above your head, you'll have a lot of instructors or coaches or trainers say, your tip was behind you, or your tip wasn't pointed at the target. This is your crosshairs, okay? So wherever this goes is when you throw, that's where it's going to travel to and end up, okay? So if your tip is pointed directly at the air, you're not going to probably catch anything. The tip needs to point, say his boots are the target, that tip needs to point at his target.
Gotcha.
Okay? So that's what the importance of the word tip is, and that's probably the most commonly used term as far as, you know, as a coach telling somebody, you know, what they're doing wrong is a lot of times the tip is not pointed in the direction of the animal that they're throwing it, or dummy, or whatever. Okay? And then the whole distance here above our tip that involves our spoke is our top strand. Okay, it includes everything from my handhold, from my pointer finger to my tip. Everything on there is my top strand. Everything below my pinky to my tip is my bottom strand. Okay, and that's another thing: top strand, bottom strand. Identifying where those two parts are at, separating them, making them controllable to where you can put it onto the dummy. Okay. All right. So, well, I'll go over all this with you. I'm just kind of fast tracking a little bit of what we're doing here, and then I'll kind of explain, now that we have the terminology, I'll explain why we, how we use it and how it applies to catching. Okay? And what I teach people at the beginning is not to even throw your rope, just to put it on the ground like that. Okay? That's going to create that muscle memory of bringing your tip to the left horn and controlling your bottom strand and putting it where it needs to be on the right one. Okay? Now spread out so we don't hit nobody. Let's just see y'all's natural swing, and then I can go off of that. We have exercises, we'll get it all lined out, but let's just kind of start with you, Nate, correct? Yeah. All right, let's start with you, Nate, and let's kind of see what you've got.
Give us what you got, boy.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, perfect. All right.
This is so embarrassing.
You're good. Go at it. Okay. This is actually surprisingly well. Okay. I can work with this. Okay. So the first exercise we're going to do.
Well.
Yeah. All right. So the first exercise we're going to do is I want you guys to spread your right arm as far away as you can. Okay. Kind of down with, you know, if you're pointing down at the ground at something. Okay. There you go. Okay. And what I want you to do is go palm up as we have it with a rope in our hand to palm up inverted across our body. There, just like that. Okay, that's what this is a wrist exercise. So it's a wrist exercise, and it's a like getting comfortable with moving your arm across your body. Because when you swing, like y'all's swing is kind of stuck out here.
Yeah.
Okay. When I swing my rope comes across my body.
Okay.
Okay. And it's getting comfortable with that coming across, because what you're trying to avoid is your face. That's what you're trying to avoid. But if you get comfortable with your wrist making this motion, it'll pick that rope up out of the way of your face as it comes around in front of you. And it'll turn that rope over, because if you keep swinging like that, it has a chance of wadding up or getting a figure eight in it or something along those lines. Yep, good. And make sure you're like really at the end of it. It should kind of put a little bit of a, you know, like a twist in your arm, a little bit of an ache right there that you're cranking it across yourself.
I'm glad I have the youth rope.
Yeah. It does make it a little bit easier. There, good job. Good. More fundamentally correct swing than a fast swing, because a fast swing is hard to make them break down and do it right. And a lot of times you're going fast because of something that's missing. It's just like horse training. A lot of times a horse will want to go fast because something fundamentally isn't correct in their training, or they're hurt, or there's something like that. So they accelerate away from using their bodies correctly. Well, it's the same thing in our swing. If we're accelerating, we're probably not using our swing and our wrist and our shoulder and everything correctly. Sometimes there's a reason for that, and sometimes you have to kind of, like, I've had shoulder problems and stuff like that, so you got to kind of work around that. But, you know, if you're doing it correctly, it should be easy to do it with just a nice even pace, not a super fast like helicopter swing or something like that. Okay, very good. So now we're going to take that same motion and we're gonna bring it above our head. So we're gonna start here, and then we're gonna start low like we were, and then start bringing it up and start doing it in front of us. There, yeah. And it's already wanting to go behind your shoulder right there. That's perfect. And then when it gets comfortable, just kind of bring it up and then swing your rope. There. Good. So y'all's surface area has already gotten a lot better. From where y'all were just twisting your rope out here, now you're comfortable bringing it across. Nobody's wrapping themselves up. Nobody's hitting themselves. Very good. Very good. Good. All right, so now I'm gonna draw a line in this.
My face looks horrible. I'm concentrating and I'm just like so stern, I guarantee. My resting bee face.
You should see Jake's pictures. Jake's does.
I stick my tongue out when I think.
Yeah. All right, so there you can kind of see what I just kind of dug in. Okay, that's way too close. Like if we were on a horse, being that close would actually make the cow probably want to soul up and stop. Okay, so you don't want to be that close. But for the idea of the next exercises, I'm going to have y'all start the same way. Get to doing this. You're going to be a little bit away from it. Then as it gets above your head, walk forwards.
Okay.
Lay it on there. Don't let go. Just lay it on there, and then bring it back off.
I can already tell you, I'm like, getting that close, I'm gonna get so nervous doing it.
Yeah, you're good.
Like, I don't know why.
There you go. Good. That's it.
Like that?
Just like
Okay.
that. And you're almost wanting to get to a little, like right there, your rope kind of tipped that grass a little bit.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to get that low necessarily. Like that was your tip actually that hit down here. I just want that tip to just kind of be just slightly above this right horn, and then in your delivery.
So it's like the lower part of
Yes.
that's wrapping
Basically
around?
what's, yeah, yes, exactly. Let Nate get a couple like
Yeah.
this, and then we'll kind of work on actually letting it out of our hands. There you go. Okay, so did you see how you missed that left horn originally?
Yeah.
Okay, your first swing was so comfortable. Your first swing, you went all the way across your body with that swing. And then as you got more focused, it got smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. Yep. And so that's where you just got to talk yourself into covering that horn, right horn to left horn, right horn to left horn. It's got to cover both, your swing has to cover both parts of your target.
Okay.
At this stage. Like I said, there's some things that as you grow in it, you can learn to do some tricks with your rope and figure out some parts about your rope that you can say, oh, I can kind of abandon those, baby steps.
Right.
But right now, it's the simplest thing is just to cover that both horns equally. Better. Kind of the same thing though. And I think you're just a little bit too far away.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead and get you another.
going the line.
Go ahead and get you another step closer. I'll get that swing up. Perfect. There it is. Good.
Okay.
Very good. And the reason that worked better there is you were in a better position for what we're trying to do.
Gotcha.
And secondly, did you see yourself hit it in your swing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that swing wasn't going to work. And when you actually made contact with it, you're like, oh crap, I got to get it higher.
Yeah.
And when you got it higher, then your swing leveled out, and then you were able to bring it down smoothly for your delivery there.
Gotcha.
Yep. Okay, so
Cool.
let's step back a little bit. And I'm fast tracking you guys. Like, if I was teaching a 10-year-old boy how to rope, I'd leave him right there for an hour.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those things like, okay, now let me go ride 2 horses and I'll come back and check on you. Right here in my left hand lies my horse's mouth, okay? So I can't do this.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I see a lot of people like roping a dummy at a fair or something like that, and they catch it and they do this. And I'm just like, haha, try to get on my horse and do that.
Right.
Your horse should be facing that way.
Yeah.
So this is you still guiding with the cow. You've caught, but you're still directing your horse forward. So what I like to do to give myself a feel of that, and if I am seeing somebody in a bad habit, I'll have them step on their tail here. So now you can feel what you're doing there, okay? So now back to my swing. In my catch, I've let go of my rope completely. It left my hand. My right hand's free willy here. I'm not touching anything. And a lot of people are afraid of that, to let go of it completely because they think they'll never find their rope again. But you always know where your left hand is, right? It's part of your body. So when I let go of my rope, that moment that it leaves my hand immediately travels and meets up with my left hand, because that holds the rest of my rope. And then I can cup over my coils and pull my slack. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because that's what, like, those are the left hand pulling the slack thing. And I probably should have had y'all do it, because I guarantee y'all that's how y'all would get your slack tight, is that right there, because that's how everybody wants to do it. But this will just immediately teach you, let go. See how my hand's already found my left hand. Find where the rest of my rope is, slide over. And this whole time I'm still, if I need to slow my horse down, I will. If I need to keep my horse riding to the cow, I will. All that kind of stuff. This is my, it's like my brake or gas pedal right here, keeping everything headed in the right direction. Good, good. Good, I mean a lot closer. You might even, just because of your arms being a little bit shorter than Nate's, you got it now. There. Great.
But, I did it.
Yeah. So right there, and that's good. Like right there, you actually, so there are 3 legal catches, and on a steer that was headed towards a half head. So you got a half head, that's a legal catch.
But yeah,
around the
I
horns,
said that I wasn't going to do it, and then
around the neck. But yes.
Immediately.
Yes.
I
So
did
then there you and your horse go,
Yeah.
away from the cow. And that's everybody's reaction is that. And I don't know why the human brain is to do, I think it's because what you still have left of your rope.
Right.
And so that's what your brain wants to tell you. And that's where you just have to remind yourself that that's not how it works. There. Okay, close. And the reason that everything came over here is I like the power behind your swing, but it's not a fastball.
Okay.
Let it almost slow down. Let this motion be slower than your swing, and let that rope catch up to you.
Not as much throwing.
You're not throwing it. It's just like when I may have, like, especially the more intensity, the faster we're going, the faster the steer's running, I'm gonna add more crank to it, and it's gonna put more oomph on it. But then when I take it off, that's when I allow that rope to head towards its target. Okay. So my delivery is it is slower than my swing is.
Okay.
There. Still, like, that's the importance of that left hand. You see your body kind of move there. And that's what I mean, when y'all get on a horse, that horse is gonna move from that. And that's gonna give you that actual visual, that feedback that you need to be like, oh shit, I can't face this way. I've gotta stay oriented towards my, I made the dummy roping finals at the Congress when I was 3.
No, you did not.
Yeah. It became I don't even remember it, but I guess it was such like a deal, like that I was getting through the go rounds at this dummy roping competition, that the entire fairgrounds came and packed out the finals, is what I was told. All right.
You're so young, you don't remember it.
Yes. There we go. Look at your target and just put your rope on the target. Oh, just a little bit lower. I love it. There you go. Didn't even need my help this time. There you go. Good job.
Okay, so we're just kind of getting used to everything on the horses, right? So like we've talked about, and I don't know if it'll be in the video yet, but a lot of these rope horses are bred for different things, and they didn't excel at the top level of that thing. So then they were taught the roping, and then they figure out where their strengths are there. So like this horse was bred for the reining, and then he was a really, really good reiner. He's been a really successful ranch horse, but he can also do the roping. So it's not just that, oh, these horses can't do anything else, let's throw them to the roping. It's that they are very versatile horses, and so they can also rope on top of the other things they do. So you just really want big, beefy, athletic, fast, well-built, sound horses, good-minded horses, right? And so the one that Nate is on belongs to Kirsty, and she does everything on it. Ropes it, does the ranch riding, does the jumping stuff, does the all-around stuff. Like, he's such a versatile horse. This horse, I literally just hopped on. His name, what's this horse's name? Mobster. This is Mobster. So he's double registered. He's a paint and a quarter horse. So like you saw me just doing a couple little pivots. So he's very sensitive. Like, you know, it's like he's got all the buttons. He's not tuned up like those reining horses that you saw in the reining video are, but like he could go do it. So he's just got that like really good foundation from the other things that then go into the roping. So I think I'm gonna go lope him.
All right, guys. Well, since we're down here, I'll kind of give you all a little bit of
We left our ropes down there.
That's okay. We don't need them for this. So this is a daily deal for me on a lot of my rope horses, is teaching them, because them steers are big. Those steers are not small.
Yeah.
They've got to have a physical conditioning to be able to handle those steers, and they need to be able to know how to put their bodies and their legs in the right formation, because if that steer hits them going 25 miles an hour and they're not in the right position for it, then that's where you're gonna get soreness, torn suspensories, all that kind of stuff. You know, reiners get it as it is and all they do is run and stop with no weight.
Yeah.
We're doing it with pulling on a steer at the end of it. You know, so there's a lot of extra added force that's into this. So this log right here, it weighs about 300 pounds. It takes 2 people to really kind of move it. And what it does is it helps build conditioning for my horses. And I can teach them to put their body parts, their rib cage, their hind end and all that kind of stuff. And this is kind of advanced stuff. And I don't know if we'll put this on the show or not, but it kind of gives you an idea of like where a horse's body should be. This is all kind of say we're on a head horse after we've caught the cow. And like right here, I know I'm counter cantering and that's on purpose, but I want to teach this horse to try to get the weight. See how it's not directly behind him?
Yeah.
It's off to the side there. I want to teach him to move away from that weight and keep that weight there, because that weight there is a lot lighter on him
than directly dragging
it. So same thing, trying to keep him off of that and then back this way. Yeah, it's good. The faster you go, the more it's gonna get straight, but it's still, you just don't want it over the top of your tail head. There you go.
Is that too behind me?
Nope, not at all. Good. Now this next time when you get facing towards me and Nate, stop him and kind of side pass him over a step or two, like you're headed that direction, and I'll explain why. So stop right here and then side pass him that way. Okay, so that right there, that's what I call the move. Okay, so like right where when I rope them steers and I put on the saddle horn, I'm gonna put that leg into my horse right there, and I'm gonna ask them to get a hold of the cow and change that cow's direction by side passing out.
Okay.
It's almost like setting up for a lead change. Okay, and a lot of people think that when you rope, you dally and you turn them.
Yeah.
Okay, that's how a lot of people view the lead change too, right? They think it's a change of direction makes the horse change leads. It's the exact same principle here. To get that steer to change directions and follow you that way, it's like you're setting that horse's body up for a lead change. Everything's forward. You're still, I mean, you're gonna travel distance forward at a run. You're gonna end up just like when you set up, you're gonna end up from there to there by the time you turn the cow, or if you start back there, you're gonna end up another 15 foot forward. But you're pressing that horse's rib cage over and getting control of that steer and changing that steer's direction to be heeled versus letting your horse dump over and turn.
Yeah.
And at a certain point, that cow's going to be in tow or in line, and then you have to let that front end turn, just like if you were to change leads, you gotta turn the new direction. And at that point in time, hopefully that steer has picked a new path and is out away from you.
I'm understanding as you say it now. In the moment, none of this will come to my brain.
That's okay. That's okay. Yeah, there's a rhyme or reason to all this. Yes, we're having fun chasing steers, and it's a lot more fun than just riding a horse around, in my opinion. It's my opinion. Some people like riding. I like roping, that's just me. But I mean, there's way more horsemanship to it than a lot of people think.
Right.
You know, it's not just roping and these horses are just transportation. Like we're trying to get these horses to, they gotta yield to our legs because they gotta have those buttons.
Even me figuring like, you know, I knew what a header was, I knew what a heeler was, but like even me, after speaking now, there's so much more fundamental mechanics, oh my gosh,
yes.
Mechanics to the horse and reasons behind placement and like,
yes.
I mean,
a lot of people don't, yes, we ride them in tie downs, and the tie down is not to tie their head down. The tie down is another tool for balance. It's just like being able to use a cavesson on a hunter. You know, there's a reason for that tool. A lot of people misabuse that tool and just don't get their horses broke enough.
yeah.
I mean, but as you can see, like most roping not most roping programs, all roping programs at this level get their horses this broke.
Yeah.
But the general public team roper doesn't put enough emphasis on why their horse needs to be, you know, basically just broke enough to
Move their front end isolated from the hind
yeah,
end.
they can do turn on the forehand, they can stop, they can turn around. Like they're broke, maybe they're not captured like a reiner is. And I avoid that. Like same thing, like our 2-year-old program is extensive for this. Those 2-year-olds are getting put through as much of the training process as one that's gonna be a pleasure horse, an all-around horse, a reiner, anything, they're gonna be a rope horse now. And I think that's all kind of new to the roping industry.
Yeah.
Because the roping industry hasn't had as much spotlight on the young horse as it has till now.
I feel like, well, like Kirsty said, a lot of them were rejects from other things.
Yes.
Okay, so we have not yet swung a rope on a horse, okay? He's riding Mojo, I'm riding Mobster, which I have zero, you know, experience in this as well. What are your first thoughts after riding a rope horse? Now this horse is not just a rope horse. He's, you know, he does everything, which this one kind of does the reining as well. What are your thoughts riding this caliber of horse that has these buttons? That like, what are you thinking?
Yeah, he's smart. He responds really well to what I'm trying to do. But it's
For those that don't know, Nate just started taking lessons.
yeah.
Like baby horseman in the works. Okay.
And honestly, half the time I've ridden, it's been on like a super great Western pleasure horse or a gaited horse.
Yeah.
And so it's like really
Opposite ends of the spectrum.
a little more bouncy, having to find the seat a little more on this one. But
Are you excited?
yeah, I'm very excited.
Did that make you more comfortable or nervous?
No, this made me more comfortable.
Okay, good. Okay.
I feel better now.
Well, pitter patter, let's get at
It's
it.
easy when you're a natural born team roper, right?
Easy.
Yeah.
Woo!
There. Good job.
Well, I caught his leg too.
That's okay. Well,
What was that? 3 or 4? 3?
And then you dally
Beat
it
that.
back
yep, Dallying.
All right, beat 3, Nate.
up. They know us as well.
Woo! I told you, Jake. Didn't I tell you? Yeah.
His was a little better. Look at him. He said, let me go.
Put your hand, trust your horse. Put your hand down. Stand up.
He's gonna get it.
A little closer.
Get
Closer.
it!
Closer. Oh. Nope.
All the good ones have quirks.
There you go.
Hey, that's my boot.
Yeah. Dally.
Woo!
Dally. A little closer. 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 There you go. Woohoo! Dally. Yeah.
Woo!
Good job.
Down more. There.
Whoa. my rope over. I know. I ruined it. No steak dinner.
You gotta give me the nod.
Okay,
The
okay.
big nod. There it is. Come on, lope after him. There you go. Closer.
Easy. He was going like, I just roped him. He was going like really far left.
Slow down more without me there. Go.
Oh, stop. You know, steer stop it.
Maverick, lay down. There you go. Put your hand down. Go to the cow.
Get over to it.
Let him go. Let him go up there. Let him go up there.
Oh, he's
Let him
having
get all the way there.
life right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was so close.
Yeah. Yeah. You got him. Get your rope up. Woo! Ah.
Almost.
There you go. Right up there.
Go ahead, Nate.
A little closer.
Oh! So good though.
He was a lot more controlled that time, huh? You were more comfortable.
Regardless if we get it or not, this can be our last one.
Yep. Right. Do we still say do it for the gram?
Not really?
No. That's outdated.
Yeah. That was one of the most fun days I think I've ever had. You know, I enjoy going slow. I love the pleasure. I love the all around, but getting to do something that is so, I mean, it's just so cowboy. It's just so ranchy and it's so fun. And I know Nate had a blast. This is the fastest you've ever gone on a horse.
Ever, not even close.
And like the fact that, I mean, you said it a million times, this was so fast tracked. Like generally speaking, you would have someone on the ground for weeks.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then to have y'all running steers today was like, holy crap. But no, nobody died, so I was happy.
But the horses were amazing for us. We had such a blast. It was so awesome to see and talk about, again, the mechanics behind everything and why you place your horse the way that you do after you've actually roped the steer and after you've actually done everything to preserve your horse and then to condition your horse so that they can actually handle the weight of that steer and all those things. So it's such a cool thing to learn about, and I'm so thankful for today. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate it so much. This is Bryce Briggs, and I kind of want to come back. So we might be having to bribe you.
Anytime. Yeah,
Anytime?
anytime.
Don't tell me that. Hope y'all enjoyed.